Okay, today we will discuss about the second chapter that written with our Dharampal ji in collective writings. Its topic is related to the remarks of astronomies of the Brahmins. So it's basically given by written by the John Playfair, MAMFRS and Eden, published in 1790s. So this all chapter is belonging or based on that only, whatever John Playfair has written in his documents, which are published in 1790s. So basically, Dharampal ji has taken a lot of text through our in London Library and other places as well, and he has extracted that exact the documents in these particular years, like 1790s. You can imagine, it's like earlier 1800. So now we'll start that chapter. So since the time when astronomy emerged from the obscurity of the ancient fable, nothing is better known than its progress through the different nation of the earth. With the era of Nabosar, regular observations begin to be made of Chaldea, the earliest which have merited the attention of succeeding age. The curiosity of the Greeks was soon after directed to the same object, and that ingenious peoples was the first that endeavored to explain or connected by theory the various phenomena of the heavens. So this work was supposed to be so fully accomplished in the syntax of Plato that his system, without opposition or improvement, continued for more than 500 years to direct the astronomers of Egypt, Italy, and Greece. So, after the science were banished from Alexandria, his writings made their way into the East, where under the caliphs of Babdid, astronomy was cultivated with the diligence and success. The Persian princes followed the example of those of Baghdad, borrowing besides from Trebizond whatever mathematical knowledge was still preserved among the ruin of Grecian Empire. The conquest of Genghis and for afterwards Timor, though they retarded, did not store do not stop the progress of astronomy in the East. The grandsons of these two conquerors were equally renowned for their love of science. The Lugalu restored astronomy in Persia, and Ulugu began by an effort still more singular, established it in Turkey. So, in the meantime, having passed with the Arabs into Spain, it likewise found in Albonos in of Castile both a discipline and patron. It was carried based after into the north of Europe, where after exercising the genius of the Caprician of Kepler and the Newton, it has become the most perfect of all the science. So based on these all like whatever informations they got it from India, they have taken it to the Europe, and they have distributed among their all peoples, and they have made different informatic books on that, and different texts they have made it. Then they have distributed in different languages as well, like Europe, Italy, Germany, Greece, and all. And there itself, like so many places, it is now is there, then further divided into different countries. So it's a like very useful document that particular time. They are astonishing like how these things are possible with this particular of science. So these all things are there. Then in the progress which astronomy has thus made, though almost all the nations from the Indus to the Atlantic, there is scarcely a step which cannot be accurately traced, and it is never difficult to determine what each age and nation received from another, or what it added to the general stock of astronomical knowledge. The various systems that have prevailed in all these countries are visible connected with one another. They are all derived from one original, and would incline us to believe that that the matter in which men begin to observe the heaven and the reason about them is a experiment on the human race, which has been made but once. So they have just telling how these heavens have been created, and how it is like interconnected. So these all informations and these all knowledge are there in that astronomical documents what they are having. So it is therefore the matter of extreme curiosity to find beyond the Indus the system of astronomical knowledge that appear to make no part of the great body of science which have traversed and enlightened the other countries of the earth, a system that is in the hand of man, who follow its rules without understanding its principle, and who can give no account of its origin except that it law claim to an antiquity far beyond the period to which with us the history of heroic age is supposed to extend. So these all things are there, they are just giving handing over this information to other countries for their travelers and enlightenments to the peoples, so that and they will follow the rule and whatever standings are there in their particular science, so that it will keep on passing to the next generation. So we owe our first knowledge of this astronomy to M. Law Lubre, who returning in 1687 from an embassy to Sion, brought with him an extract from a Siomini manuscript which contained tables and rules for calculating the place of the sun and moon. The manner in which these rules were laid down rendered the principle of which they are founded extremely obscure, and it required a commentator as conversant with astronomical calculations as the celebrated Cassin to explain the meaning of this curious fragment. After that period, two other set of astronomical table was sent to Paris by the missionaries in Hindustan, but they remained unnoticed till the return of M. Lee Gentle from India, where he had been to observe the transit of Venus in 1769. The academic employed himself during the long stay which his reel of science induced him to make in that country, in acquiring the knowledge of Indian astronomy. The Brahmins thought they say in the business of an astronomer, the marks of the caste that had some affinity to their own, and began to converse with Emily Gentle more familiarly than with other strangers. A learned Brahmin of Trivulor, having made a visit to French astronomer, instructed him in the method which he used to calculating its eclipse of the sun and moon, and communicated to him the table and rules that are published in the Memories of the Academy of the Science for 1772. Since that time, the ingenious and eloquent author of History of Astronomy has dedicated an entire volume to the explanation and comparison of these different tables, where he has deducted from them many interesting conclusions. The subject indeed permitted his attention from the Indian astronomy has all the precious necessary for revolving the great questions with respect to its own origin, antiquity, and is by no mean among the number of those imperfect fragments of ancient knowledge which can lead no further than conjecture, and which an astronomer would gladly resign to the learned researchers of antiquary or the mythologists. So these all like peoples, they came India, and the Brahmins, the Brahmin whatever peoples are there in India that time, they have easily for them, for they have made them easy so that they can easily go through how the things are there, how this eclipse is happening, and exact moon and timing, moon and the sun timing is matching with their table and all everything. So all formulas, all everything, all information they have given to them, so that then they are just taking the information, practicals and knowledge and everything along with them. Okay, and to along with the methodology that they will distribute it to their countries and other neighbor countries. Okay, but whatever later it's happened, like they have taken it with their name and they have patented it, so that everybody will understand that they have invented it initially. But it is actually inbuilt in our Brahmins and other caste of peoples who are studying in Gurukul that time. So we'll go further, and then it is from these sources, and chiefly from the elaborate investigations of the last mentioned work, that I have selected the materials of the paper which I have now the honor to lay before this society. And it is perhaps necessary that I would make some apology of resenting here what can have so little claim to originality. The fact is that, notwithstanding the most profound respect for the learning and ability of the author of the astronomy in mini, I entered on the subject of that work, not without a portion of the scriptures, which whatever is new and extraordinary in science ought always to excite and set about verifying the calculations and examine the reasoning in it with the most scrupulous attentions. The result was an entire conviction of the accuracy of the one and the solidity of the other, and I then faced that in an argument of such variety I might perhaps do a service to other by presenting to them that particular view of it which had appeared to me the most striking. Such therefore is the object of these remarks, They are directed to three different points. First is to give a short account of the Indian astronomy, so far as it is known as us, from the foresight of table above mentioned. The second, to state the principal arguments that can be deduced deducted from these tables with respect to their antiquity, and the third, to form or some estimate of the geometrical skill with which the astronomical system is constructed. In the first, I have followed M. Belly closely. In the second, though I have sometimes taken a different road, I have always come to the some conclusion, having aimed at nothing so far. So, to reduce the reasoning into a narrow compass and to avoid varying argument that is not purely astronomical and independent of all hypotheses in hypothetics. In the third, I have treated of a question which did not fall within the plane of Mr. M. Belly work, but have only entered on it at present, leaving to some future opportunities the other discussions to which it leads. So the number fifth point will be there, the astronomy of the India, as you already possesses, is confined to one branch of the science. It gives no theory nor even and description of that celestial phenomena, but satisfies itself with the calculations of certain changes in the heavens, particularly of the eclipse of the sun and moon, and with the rule and tables by which these calculations must be performed. So in that how like Indian peoples they are doing it, same way they have decoded it in their places as well, and the exact table and the exact how they are doing the calculation part, so all things they are taking information from India. So here it is there now, whatever the Brahmin sitting himself on the ground and arranging his shell before him, respect the enigmatical verses, they are that are to guide this calculation, and from his little table of calm leaves, so taken out the number that are to be employed in it, he obtains this result with wonderfully certainty and expeditions, but having little knowledge of the principle on which this rule are founded, and no anxiety to be better informed. He is perfectly satisfied if, as it is usually happen, the commencement and duration of the eclipse answer within a few minutes, so his predictions. Then beyond this, his astronomical inequity never extended, and his observations which he make any go no further than to determine the meridian's line and the length of the day at the place where he observed. So the main whatever they are making that calculations, they can easily give the length of the day and all other aspects, so that that are totally matching with that whatever they have the informations. So with whatever calculations they are doing, the object therefore with the astronomy present us to the three principles are there, that is table and rule are calculating the place of the sun and moon, the table and the rule are calculating the place of the planet, and the rule or by which the phases of eclipse are determined. So these three are there, though it is chief to the first of these are our attention at present is to be directed. The two last will also furnishes us with some useful observations. Okay, thank you. Good day today.